of families that are year round. And then after COVID, there were like a whole bunch of people that moved and never left. And then some of our crowd also, like, they spend less time in Florida than they used to, or they stop skiing, and therefore we benefit from that kind of shift in reality. But I often describe it as like a Goldilocks situation. It's just like the right amount of everything without anything being overwhelming. And because it's a nice, kind of room like this, it feels nice and intimate, and, as it is. But it depends. I think probably in like the depths of winter, it's maybe 30 on a Friday night, maybe. Does that feel like? Yeah. No. The truth is, I have no. I was gonna say I have no frame of reference for anything anymore because I've been out of the city for so long. But like Bill tells me that and
There's a lot of places in the city that, not central.
no, I know, right, exactly, yeah.
But there's a lot of places in the city that have relatively small crowds for the expense for their
But
size.
the thing that made me happiest was when Bill told me that our kiddish lunch is still keeping up with, and maybe even slightly better than some places in the city, which I feel is pretty proud.
We have a good,
You know,
kiddish one.
we like to focus on the important things around here. We try to punch above our weight class.
We'll make a little nice
It never goes wrong. It's not a stupid question at all. It is a Reformed congregation, but it's been a little bit of everything in its history. But it's been firmly Reformed, I think, for probably 40 years, maybe 50 years even. So like my predecessor and then his predecessor was here for a really long time. He was the head of HUC forever. It was like his summertime gig. But actually, Rabbi Lieberman was also Reformed, but Rabbi Gilbert was Reconstructionist, and there was an attempted coup to turn it conservative at one point that failed. And the original guys were Orthodox Orthodox. So, we've been a little bit of everything. And I grew up going to B'nai Jeshurun. Most of my family is conservative, so it's a slightly more traditional service than most Reformed services, I guess. Yes. Okay. Will can say. Will knows more than I do about like anything outside of here. They kept me chained up here for so long. I really have no idea. What the zeitgeist is.
And you said already, but how many years have you been there?
11 years. So yeah, things change for the city for sure. But I have like a little bottle of water. Is there anything else that would be helpful to you in any way? Okay, if you think of something though, you let us know. We like to try to take good care of everybody.
My daughter and her friend may come to visit.
That's fine.
It's
Tell them not to worry. Like we have a rolling admission scenario here. Tomorrow morning, even more so. It should be no problem at all. And, if you want to save any seats for them, we'll just I don't think we'll have to worry necessarily about putting a college down or anything like that. I'm thinking actually that maybe to speak from Will's lectern, because this can really adjust much more easily than mine. But I control the mics with the iPad, so if it feels a little bit low to you, it might take me a second to kind of get the volume up, because ours have to be a little bit lower because we're singing, and if we have it all the way up, it will blow out the system and stuff. So it'll get me that big. But I'll take care of all that stuff. But if you need anything else, like you're right over there. Hope you have a nice day. No, are you kidding? It's our pleasure. And I don't know if Shelley around, but the folks that we already heard is running just so more English families into our college. And then we're going to tell people to get more. So if you had a preferred store or online store or through the website, what would be your preference? Yeah, never would have known, but you know, but getting married again in Greece, I think is and everybody was there. You got everybody there. Increase the population of Greece overnight by significant margins. It's wonderful. Cindy, tell me, where would you like? I was gonna say, what you said. No, wherever you're most comfortable. I feel like this is part of the any spots? Yeah. I'm gonna turn this off now. Should be turning off on its own. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, this crazy storm also, like, none of us checked the weather, so. No, it was very specific. Like, I looked at yeah, but when I looked at the thing, it showed all these lightning strikes all over the place. I'm thinking, great, it got dark. I know. Thank God, right? The Chellies saw it. Like, they were already at the beach. And then somebody said, I think we should reconsider. I think we should reconsider. You're kidding me. Oh my God, really? Somebody told me that back in the day, 114 used to flood so bad that you just couldn't go. Like, that we just closed the road. That's scary stuff.
I stopped doing it because it just first of all got to be too expensive. Your hair is nice. What with gray you mean?
Shalom. Good to see you. I'm not. No, this is it. You will. You will. How you doing, Ron? Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you. How you been? I know, you look tan. It did. It did, yeah. How was Greece? I didn't go. I was here. There'll be another time. Yeah. There will be. Yeah, that's right. A few weeks ago, not tonight, but I have in life. Yeah. Shabbat Shalom, how you doing?
This truck was in front of us all the way from 114.
Wow.
What does that mean?
Gotta always do Hakrat Hatov, a little bit of the gratitude.
I think we got the guns.
Okay.
We got all of our fun people here.
Hi guys, how are you? Nice to see you. It's great to have everybody together.
Cold, no?
Cold?
Is it?
Oh, well, no, I mean, it was bumping for a bit. And I tell it the truth, it takes like 15 minutes. So I will just keep an eye on the exterior.
Yeah.
Right. And I have the power now to keep it on.
That's right. You know, but it's like oddly doesn't work quite the way I would expect it to. Should we sing something to get everybody? You get something. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Well, there's a lot going on this weekend, a lot of really amazing things. I want to first begin by welcoming our guest speaker for this evening, Zibby Owens, who's so comfortably fit into the community. I wonder if I didn't point her out, whether anybody would know. Just, Zibby, thank you so much for being here tonight and sharing a bit and a little bit about the wonderful work that you've been doing, about this wonderful book we have here on Being Jewish Now. Very important read for all of us, but I won't steal any of your thunder. We'll get to hear more in just a little bit. And tonight we also have a dual sponsorship for our Oneg later this evening. And we thank, of course, the Grunstein family and Nicole especially for sponsoring their half in memory and remembrance of our dear and beloved Jerry, who we miss terribly. And on the, let's say, right, the Simcha side of the equation, we celebrate also Ira's birthday. We're not going to say how old Ira is, but, certainly, we'll say a little over his bar mitzvah, but looking good, sounding good for sure. And of course, we thank Ira and Bonnie for being your part as well. And we also recently learned that it is Judy Greenwald's birthday also, and Judy brought what feels like most of the family back, which is great since the bat mitzvah, which, is wonderful to see everybody. Oh my goodness, all right. Well, the world needs more simchas, that is for certain, without a doubt about that. So as we invite up our two candlelighters tonight, Bonnie is going to light in celebration of Ira, and Nicole will come up as well, and we'll light our two sets of candles as we have. And as they're coming up, why doesn't everybody just turn to each other, wish each other a Shabbat Shalom, say hello.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay. All right, especially if you don't know people, introduce yourselves. Okay, our blessing is found. I should have realized that's harder to control. It's a nice thing. So our blessing is found on page 120, and do you guys need help, or we're all set? Okay, great. Amen. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Bonnie. And we'll turn now to page 130 as we begin Kabbalat Shabbat together toward the very top of the page.
Lechu nerana Adonai nariya litzuri sheinu. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria litzuri sheinu nekadma fana betoda. Naria litzuri sheinu bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai.
We turn now to page 131 in the Hebrew, just in the middle of the page.
Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai baruchu shemo, Basru meyom leyom Yeshuato, Safru v'goyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim nifleotav, Ki gadol Adonai, Hulal meod, Norahu, Al kol Elohim, Shiru l'Adonai. שיר חדש שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו.
We'll turn now to page 132, or Zarua, which is the last Hebrew paragraph toward the bottom of the page.
Or zaru ala tzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Or zaru ala tzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, ve'odu lezecher kodsho. Simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, ve'odu lezecher kodsho.
We'll turn now to page 134 at the very top.
Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar. Hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai, Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar. Hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai, Yiram hayamulo, Tevel ve'yoshveva. Neharot imcha uchaf yachad, harim yiranenu. Lifnei Adonai kiva, lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel betzedek, ve'amim b'meisharim, yiram hayamulo, tevel ve'yoshveva.
We're now on page 135, Romamu, which is the middle paragraph in Hebrew, just again in the middle of the page.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho.
We'll turn now to page 136, the 29th Psalm, beginning at the top of the page.
Mizmor leDavid, Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, Havul Adonai kavod va'os, Havul Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod yirim, Adonai al hamayim rabim, Adonai al hamayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover harazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel Levanon ve'Sirion, kemo כמו בן רמים, כמו בן רמים. קול אדוני חוצב להבות אש, קול אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל אדוני מדבר קדש, קול אדוני יחולל לילות, ויחשוף יערות, ובכלו כולו מרכבות, כולו מרכבות, כולו מרכבות. אדוני למבול ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
We turn now to Lachado D on page 138. We'll do the first, second, fifth, and ninth paragraphs. And for those with us here in the room, when we get to the ninth paragraph, we'll rise and face the doors that we entered through just a few moments ago.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבורך השמיענו, אל המיוחד אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי, אורי. שיר דברי כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה, ובצולתוך אמונה עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Please be seated. We're now on page 140. Tzadika Tamar, just for the Hebrew indents in the middle of the page.
Tzadika Tamar yifrach, kerez bavanon iske, shetudim bevet Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Or yenuvun tseva deshenim verananim iu lehagid ki ashar Adonai tzuri velo avatabo.
Invite us now to rise in body or spirit for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144, and remain standing for the Baruch Hu on the next page. Yitkadal vehitkadash shemei rabba Alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchayei dechol Beit Yisrael bagala uvizman kariv veimeru amen Yehi shmei rabba mevarach Le'alam li'almei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitvar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudsha b'richu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata tamiran be'alma v'imeru amen. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. We'll turn now to page 148, and we'll read together in English toward the very bottom of the page. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Umhavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Amari v'aravi.
Amen. Let's read together now on page 150 in English toward the very bottom of the page. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, v'hem nege yomam v'layla, v'avatecha tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
ohev amo Yisrael.
Amen.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please join us on page 154.
Ve'ahavta
Et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levavcha v'chol nafshecha, u'bechol meodecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'elem, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom ad levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha bebeitecha, u'lechtecha b'terech, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, emet. Let's read together on the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. As we turn to Mi Chamocha on page 158.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati lot osef ele, malchutcha ra'u vanecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe, malchutcha ra'u vanecha, bokeyam lifnei Miriam, zezeli anu ve'ameru, Adonai imloch, leolam leolam va'ed, yadadai dai 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 yadadai dai dai, yadadai dai 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 yadadai dai dai, yadadai dai 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 yadadai dai dai, yadadai dai 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 dai. V'ne'amar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalom yad chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai, gal Yisrael.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Hashkivenu is on the top of page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomereinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomereinu lechaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu lechaim ushalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomereinu lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'porei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. We turn to Vishamru on the top of page 162.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash, v'shamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat, v'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
Now invite us all to rise in body or spirit as we begin the Amidah together on page 164. From that point on, we'll continue silently. As always, please go at your own pace. When you're finished at the end, if you're still standing, you may be seated.
Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yehu leratzon imrefi v'gyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri v'goali Yoseh shalom shalom bibromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel oseh shalom shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen, amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. יושבי תבל, ועל כל ישראל. Amen.
We now take a moment to pray for healing for those that we know well, that are closest to us, those for a world that feels increasingly broken and in need of that healing. So I invite us now, before we sing our Misha Berach together on page 371, for a moment of silence for everyone to think again of those you may be praying for tonight, and of course to make space in your hearts to pray for the world that needs it desperately. Join with Will on page 371, just in the middle of the page.
Mishe berach avoteinu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe berach imotenu mekor habracha avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We now offer our prayer for Israel in time of war. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, you know that the Jewish people are one nation with one heart, and now that heart is broken. O healer of broken hearts, binder of their wounds, be with our brothers and sisters who've been taken captive and with the families of the victims. Watch over the hostages, break their bonds, and bring them out from darkness to light. Proclaim release to the captives, liberation to the imprisoned. Comfort the families, bring them under the shelter of your wings. Bring complete healing of body and spirit to all of the wounded. Bind up our wounds and grant us healing. Tzur Yisrael v'goalo, rock and redeemer of the people Israel. Bless the state of Israel, the initial manifestation of our redemption. Shield it with your care, spread it over it your shelter of peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Grace them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend us. Crown their efforts with victory. Bless the land with peace, its inhabitants with lasting joy. Shomer Yisrael, guardian of Israel, strengthen and bless the defenders of Israel, who stand guard on the land, in the air, and on the sea. And we see the promise of the psalmist realized. You turned my mourning into dancing, my sackcloth into robes of joy. God, protect, preserve, and restore peace and well-being to Israel, your people, and together we say, Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
It is my honor and my privilege to introduce and invite up our guest speaker for the season. Zibby, don't look so nervous. You can see these are all wonderful, smiling. And they listen to me all the time, so they're very excited to hear from somebody. And Zibby, what an amazing life you live! What amazing work that you have done. And I know we only have a little bit of time with you tonight to get a snapshot of it, but I urge everyone really to go, and especially after Shabbat or whatever, check out Zibby's website, and you get to really see the totality of it. But I want to just at least give you a little bit of a sense on why we have invited you to speak to us this evening. So Zibby Owens is the founder of Zibby Media, which includes the award-winning daily podcast, which is maybe more work than anything else there is in the world. So kol hakavod to you, which is called Totally Booked with Zibby. We were just joking before, its original name, which I loved, which was originally called Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. This was back in 2018. But as Zibby sort of acknowledged, right, that limits the scope a little bit. It was never intended that way, but it limited this way. Really, it's talking about, again, something that is really very Jewish at its core, right? The importance of books, of sharing, again, the written word, appreciating, challenging each other, right? It's at the very core of who we are. So I don't know how much that factored in when you originally thought of this, but Zibby very much up our alley, as it were. And I should say also Zibby Publishing in New York and Zibby's Bookshop in Santa Monica, California. And she is the author of 6 books, including the USA Today bestsellers Blank, a novel, and really the focus, I believe, of this evening, this wonderful book on being Jewish now, Reflections from Authors and Advocates. And I will let Zibby tell you more about the book and where it came from, but I will just simply say 2 things. One is, it's wonderful when you look at the book and you see people that you recognize who are in it, and they're not just connected to me, they're connected to this community. So Emily Sussman, who is a dear friend of mine, who I went to high school with, who's a member of our congregation, is one of the entries, brilliant, wonderful entry. Another is Rabbi Diana Fursko, who we may remember came to visit us a few years ago, who I have known since I was in school, who shared the University of Wisconsin with me, but is also our member Myra Hackle's niece. So we have a few, but I was going to say the second part of this, the more important statement is, when I get to see a book like this and I don't recognize names. And why do I say that? Because it introduced me to all sorts of people that, in my sheltered Eastern Long Island, East End of Long Island world, right, that I don't know about and I don't hear from. And it was so great to be able to learn from and to hear all these voices. What a remarkable job you did in editing this and bringing this to the world. And we're very honored to welcome you up to the Bima to share some words with our community this evening. So, Zibby, why don't you join us and we'll get you set up right here. Thanks to new technologies, I'll just make sure everybody can hear you. So if you wouldn't mind just saying a Shabbat Shalom, and then I'll adjust it as it goes.
I was going to say that anyway.
Good. So
Shabbat Shalom. Good. Thank you for making me feel so welcome here. This is so nice. Thank you. I've never been here before, and what a warm, loving community. Oh my gosh, what an honor. Okay, 10 things I learned from publishing On Being Jewish Now. Almost exactly a year ago, I sat down on my couch in Watermill and sank further into despair and frustration. It had been another bad news day. There had been another attack in Israel, and the hits just kept coming. I'd been speaking out about anti-Semitism and my support of Israel as a diaspora Jew since October 7th. Yes, I'm one of those October 8th Jews who really got into things after the attacks. Why? I just had to. I was raised Reform in New York, bat mitzvahed at Temple Emmanuel, married at Central Synagogue, and then, for my second wedding, to Kyle, who converted to Judaism to marry me, under a huppah in our backyard just a few miles from here. I was a secular, not too observant, high holidays kind of Jew. I lit Shabbat candles when I remembered. I oversaw the Zoom bar and bat mitzvah of my twins and countless family worship services. Hanukkah? Yes, of course. But I was always deeply proud and intellectually observant. At Yale, I researched children of Holocaust survivors for my class on Jewish identity. I delved deep into Holocaust history, reading countless accounts of what happened. I studied, I listened, I learned. I knew I would be ready if the time came again. And it did. On the morning of October 8th, I was in Denver at a regional bookseller conference for my publishing house. As I came out of the bathroom, my husband held out the phone and said, "Honey, there was an attack on Israel." "There's always an attack on Israel," I said, taking a look. "No, this is different." My first instinct was fear. My dad had a trip scheduled to Israel that week. He'd just helped rebuild a library there and was going for the opening. Had he left yet? Was he there? Was he okay? I called him right away, and fortunately, he had been scheduled to leave 2 days later. Phew. But also not few. I couldn't believe what had happened. Sickened. Back in New York, I talked to my business partner, and of course, we decided to post on social media about it, both from my own personal account, but also from the company accounts. We drafted what we assumed would be a standard yet heartfelt post, something like, "We stand with Israel, our hearts are broken." And that's when the wheels started to come off. Immediately, we were hit with blowback, mean comments, people unfollowing me. And as the days went on, and from the river to the sea rang out, especially in New York, my business partner Ann and I just looked at each other across the office. My husband and I hugged at night. I tried to parent my 4 kids through it. Soon, my name was added to lists of Zionists, blacklists of authors not to support anymore. My novel, Blank, which was scheduled to come out the following March, got 0-star reviews on Goodreads with the note, "Zionist Racist." But what really took the cake was when, on a Sunday in November, a few weeks after the attacks, while shopping at Athena Books in Old Greenwich with my kids, I got a call from an acquaintance who had said they'd gotten word that all the authors at the upcoming National Book Awards, which Zibby Media was sponsoring, were planning a collective anti-Israel action, one that they were coordinating in terms of messaging in all their acceptance speeches. That couldn't possibly be right. The next morning at work, Anne and I called the organizer of the prestigious event, the culmination of the year of literary fare, the Academy Awards of Reading. Had they heard about this? They had. Well, I asked, what were they going to do about it? Nothing. Nothing. When I pressed them, they said, we believe in free speech. I told them I also believe in free speech, but not hate speech. They doubled down, saying they were not going to interfere with author speeches no matter what. So if everyone literally got up and said, kill all the Jews, you wouldn't intervene, I asked, dumbfounded? No, we believe in free speech. Well, then we can't be a part of this, I said, and we withdrew our sponsorship. How could I possibly bring my team into an event that could be so toxic? How could I support an organization that could leave Jews out to dry like that? I couldn't. My decision, made in the back room of our small townhouse office in New York's Upper East Side, became international news. All the media outlets covered it and twisted my decision into a political statement, a denouncement of a ceasefire, which wasn't what I'd said. I wrote a Substack post about what happened, but the truth was ignored. That was only the beginning. Then everything changed. I was hated, canceled. Podcast guests on my daily podcast withdrew. I got attacked on social media. It was pretty terrifying. Bookstores told me they'd stop selling books my publishing house published, even by non-Jewish authors. Friends and colleagues posted Free Palestine and betrayed me and us in the most horrific ways. So I spoke out, because not only had I gotten so much hate, but I'd also gotten so much love. Jews from around the world emailed, DM'd, and reached out to me at events. As I toured for my novel Blank in March, 6 months after the attacks, women would come over to me and quietly thank me for speaking out, tears in their eyes. I joined Artists Against Anti-Semitism, a startup nonprofit, and helped raise money. The best part of that was becoming part of a group chat of 30 or so Jewish women authors who routinely vented and shared examples of how the world was treating them and our communities. It was like an online support group. If only everyone had the benefit of that. I wrote and posted and supported my people. Of course I did. But so many others stayed silent. At times, I felt like people encouraged me to speak out more just so they didn't have to. At one point, I debated revealing the identity of someone who had done something to me that would have made news, but decided against it after a talk at the dinner table with Kyle and my kids. Can't someone else's mom speak out? My younger daughter asked. By last summer, I was depleted, discouraged. Nothing I did or said seemed to stop the tsunami of hatred. Why did I bother? For what? It wasn't making a difference. Nothing was helping. Sitting on the couch, phone in hand, looking at the images of more kids who had just died from an attack on the north of Israel, I suddenly had an idea. What if I asked all the talented women in my group chat to write personal essays, and I published an anthology about our experiences? I could donate the profits to Artists Against Anti-Semitism and help others feel less alone. I'd published 2 anthologies in the aftermath of COVID designed to do the same thing and raise money for a vaccine. I knew how to do it, and now that I owned a publishing company, I could publish it too. So I did. I emailed everyone I knew, and they emailed who they knew, and before a month had gone by, we had 75 submissions for the book. I was able to edit all the essays last summer, foregoing summary things, like, say, the pool and tennis, and even the novel I was supposed to be writing for this project. I felt compelled to do it. I could feel it in my bones, and I knew it was the most important thing I'd ever do. As essays came in, I cried, I laughed, I healed, and I knew others would feel the same way. We published it so that the ebook and audiobook came out before the October 7th anniversary, on October 1st, and the paperback on November 1st, launching with an all-day retreat with dozens of the contributors and our community of New York Jews at the Lowe's Hotel. It was amazing. Just being together in that room, now in this room, felt DNA fortifying. From last October through now, I've been talking to groups just like this about the book. Yeah, about the book, yes, but really about life, about what it means and how it feels to be Jewish now, which is exactly what I asked the contributors to write. I've learned so much along the way, both about our community and also about publishing. Here are the biggest takeaways. 1, writing a book people need versus a book people want is an entirely different experience. At the launch event at my bookstore in Santa Monica, Zibby's Bookshop, people were practically fighting over copies, grabbing them off the desk, angling for extras for family and friends. I was used to begging people to buy my memoir, my novel, my other books. This is what book publishing is for. The book didn't even feel like a book. It was something else, a touchstone. Interestingly, 90% of the sales of this book are for the print copies, not the ebook or audiobook like the other books we publish. People want to hold it, see it, look at it, put it on their table. They need it to say, I am not alone. This is what it means. This is how it has been. This is so I won't forget, so I can be part of something as we all sit Shiva for the false sense of safety we now grieve. The book signifies more than a read. It's an identifier. And as people started posting photos of it on Instagram, it just spread. The fact that it was on the USA Today bestseller list for 20 weeks almost wasn't a surprise, although it was. People were hungry, desperate for the book. As a publisher and author, now I'm trying to figure out how to do that again. Number 2, the world is far smaller than I thought. I've gotten to know Jews everywhere, on Zoom, over email, on the phone, Brazil, Australia, UK. I launched a Substack called On Being Jewish Now to continue publishing essays from those who hadn't contributed to the book. As my Jewish peers in Amsterdam recounted the night of the sports attack, and as my Australian writers shared about their temples burning and more, I felt the common threads deeply. No matter where in the world we are, Jews are connected. We're a family, a community. I didn't feel that before. Now it has a physical element to it. I get goosebumps. I feel seen. It doesn't matter where. Number 3, people feel comforted being together even if they don't say anything. There's something to being in person, to showing up, to congregating, not just as a congregation, but as an audience. Yes, virtual events have worked too, but it isn't the same as this, like tonight. We're here together. We're holding space and thinking and breathing and feeling as a way to connect, link up, bond, survive. It's an instinct, a compulsion, to glom together like a beehive or a school of fish. It's an animalistic, evolutionary instinct that has taken over and that draws us to events like this. We know that to survive, we must count on each other. Any Holocaust survival story involves this to some extent, and so we do. We get in our cars and drive, not really knowing why, so we can feel the comfort and security of our tribe. Number 4, the world is only getting worse, but we will get through it. Yes, it's totally terrifying. Nowhere feels safe. I was literally emailing a broker on Zillow about a house in Iowa the other day. I mean, how bad could it be in the middle of Iowa? Maybe there I'd feel safe, because I certainly don't feel safe in New York, where crowds of protesters swarmed right under our windows one night, my kids terrified, looking down from the 12th floor as I sped home on the FDR from an event in Westchester. I couldn't get home fast enough. I don't feel safe with graffiti on the walls nearby, swastikas, protests, all of it. And yet, I've decided that I'm going to stay in New York because if nowhere in the world is safe for Jews anymore, then I might as well stay where I'm happy. I keep thinking about the Holocaust. There's a scene in the film version of Georgia Hunter's novel, We Were the Lucky Ones, where their family also peers out their beautiful apartment window to see the Nazis storming in, and they look at each other in fear, as my family does now. Is it time to flee? Where do we go? For now, I feel cocooned in the comfort of shared stories, shared spaces, and the thriving New York Jewish population. Number 5, Jews are great storytellers. Yes, I always knew it, but hearing so many powerful stories in the book, on tour, in my emails, on the Substack has made me smile ear to ear. We are a talented bunch, it's true. Number 6, giving back has never been more important. It can look any way you want it to, but now is the time. Give back, do something. Use our collective power and love of who we are as a people to step up. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be posting on social media. But we all have something we can do to fight back in our way. During the Holocaust, Jews wrote and buried their manuscripts underground. They gave back to future generations. How will we? Number 7, it all helps. All of it, everything. Everything you do or say to remain connected to being Jewish, whether it's lighting the Shabbat candles, baking a challah, watching Nobody Wants This on Netflix, or just reaching out to a Jewish friend. This is the fabric of our lives. Being Jewish isn't just a part of our identity. It defines us. It is who we are. It's what makes us so very special. We're the people of the book, after all. And I hope after you close mine, you'll feel not only less alone, but also intimately connected, because we are a tribe, and we're not going anywhere. Thank you.
Well done indeed. And yeah. So that was one of the things I was going to say. He's not here tonight, but we want to thank Alan Levitt, who helped connect us with Zibby and who generously purchased 50 copies, which we are going to send to the families in our Hebrew school and our college kids on campus. But one of the things I asked Zibby was, where we can get a copy of the book, because I imagine many of you will want to do the same thing. So locally, we understand there's a few copies at Bookhampton. There's a few copies at Barnes & Noble. We're not sure about in town. We're going to work on that for sure. And then, of course, it's available in all the various places that one gets books. But I think that idea of actually owning the physical book, there is something quite powerful about it. It doesn't happen often these days. So please go out, get this book, read it this weekend. Read it in the pool even if you need to. But read it and learn. And Zibby, thank you so much again for being with us for this Shabbat and for just being the wonderful person that you are. And I hope that you'll stick around a little bit at our own egg, so hopefully get a chance for people to come graciously, right? Don't crush upon her, but please, let her get something to eat, and then maybe get to know a little bit more about who you are. But we thank you again for being here and for teaching us. And I'll now invite our congregation to please rise as we turn back in our prayer books to page 586 at the bottom. Aleinu l'shabbat.
Aleinu l'shabbat radon hakol, atet gilula yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu k'gurei ha'aratzot, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Now ask those in mourning and those observing yahrzeit to please remain standing. Everyone else may be seated at this time. We think first of those who passed in our community in recent months. Heather Abrams, Stephen Dickman, Harry Fadum, Michael Fagenbaum, Sharon Lee Goldblatt, Barbara Goldfarb, Harry Heller, David Carlin, Morris Kramer, Leonard Lauder, Ann Lieber, Jeanette Meyerowitz, Carol Nadell, Phyllis Cole Rowan, Gloria Sapiro, Carol Shapiro, Louise Silberman, Randy Wasserman, and Joel Wintner. We also mark the yahrzeit that occurred during the last week for Felicia Abraham, Nathan Bitterman, Albert Bookstaver, Cecile Busgang, Rose Schwatzky, David Davis, E.L. Doctorow, Lydia Gossi, Russ Fearman, Lynn Friedman, Ruth Gold, Joseph Goldblatt, Ralph Goldblatt, Max Goldman, Jerry Goldsmith, Dr. Sam Gould, Adele Heyman, Ann Giroux, George Krulik, Joan Levine, Meyer Levine, Moreno Harav, Rabbi George B. Lieberman, Honey Linden, Dr. Martin Protel, Mickey Ritvo, Barry Rosen, Arlene Rosenberg, Louis Rubin, Frida Rudinsky, Howard Schreier, Esther Weinberg, Lillian Wolgemuth, and Faye Zaltis. In addition to those names that I just shared, is anyone saying Kaddish for anyone we did not mention? I invite the mourners to join me on page 598, and if it is your custom to rise alongside them, you may do so at this time. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'b'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. B'agala u'b'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'olam le'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ilah min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Zichronam livracha, may every one of their memories be for a blessing. Okay, please be seated. Again, Shabbat Shalom to everyone. And again, a great thanks to our guest speaker for this evening, Zibby. Thank you again for being with us. And we thank Alan, if he's able to watch at home, for making that connection for us and a wonderful summer, continuing to learn and to grow and to build community and all the things that Zibi talked about. Okay, this is the moment. Okay, this is the moment that asks a lot of us, and I think we are, without any question, living through history. So to have a sort of reflection as it is going on in the moment is quite a remarkable thing. But I think we will look back on this being, again, one of the tectonic shifts in our history, across Jewish history, but also here in America as well as American Jews. And, I think that we begin that conversation with deep thought, and we begin that conversation with reflection, and that's really what this wonderful book represents. So we thank you, Zibi, again for sharing it with our community here, and we'll welcome everyone next door in just a few moments to celebrate Shabbat with our Oneg Shabbat. And again, our gratitude to Nicole and David and the Grunstein family for remembering our beloved Jerry. It's hard to believe that it's been as long as it's been, but his memory and his presence is still very much in this space, as is Lita's. So we thank you guys for continuing to remember them and bring their memory back into this beautiful space that they love so much. And of course, we want to celebrate our wonderful Ira. Looks like either he's taking a nap back there or he's just quietly reflecting on what it is to have reached this stage of life, But Ira, we love you. We celebrate you all days, but we especially celebrate you. And thank you, and Bonnie, of course, for sponsoring as well our Oneg. We got a lot of food next door. We're going to have a good time. And of course, we want to acknowledge Judy for her birthday as well. When we get next door, we'll make sure we get everybody over there and let's sing a very happy birthday, and many, many more. Many, many more. That's what we always hope for. Just a few other important things to note. Please do, of course, join us for our Shabbat services tomorrow morning beginning at 10 o'clock. And it will also be an opportunity, last opportunity, for, at least theoretically, the actual last opportunity to send off our dear Will. This will be his last official service tomorrow.
For real.
For real. And graciously, he's going to teach Torah study also, which is really a wonderful thing. And speaking of simchas, we actually get to do something we don't often get to do here, which we have a baby naming tomorrow as part of our service.
Yeah.
May, in fact, actually be two namings that happen as part of that service, which is always wonderful. And also tomorrow evening, I'm going to officiate the wedding for our dear AJ LaPierre Auerbach. And so if you know Arlene Auerbach, you wish her a big mazel tov, and Laura and Dominic and everybody. This is tomorrow night. One of my very first students when we got here. It's in Westchester. I promise it's going to happen. That's the most important thing I can say. It's going to happen. And so, anytime that we have these kind of simchas, apropos, right, of this conversation, all the more reason to really celebrate them. So, again, if you know Arlene, you could reach out and wish her a mazel tov, and to the whole family as well. Another number of things coming up. I just want to note, we have 3 major Shabbatots in a row coming up. Information is coming out to them. Next week, we're going to welcome our friend Jonathan Ornstein back, the CEO of the JCC of Krakow, Poland. Those who may remember, he was with us a few years ago when we were still at the church temporarily. Great speaker, really important message, really important timing. You can join us next Shabbat for that. The following weekend will be our HUC weekend, in which we welcome Cantor Jill Abramson, who is going to represent the college and is Will's
I'm a big fan.
Big fan. So if Will vouches, as we know, and actually Jill was a student cantor here many years ago, and she joined us as our Women's Torah Commentary Scholar, I believe, probably 3 years ago at this point. So it's really wonderful to have her back, and of course to remind us of our great connection to HUC. And the following week, we are welcoming a member of Knesset, Rabbi Gilad Kariv, and I'm blanking on her name, the CEO of the IMPJ, the Israel
Anna
Movement for
Kislansky.
Anna Kaczynski.
Kislansky. Anna
Thank you very much.
Kislansky.
This is why I need Will next time, but he's not going to be here to save me. But this is, again, a major opportunity. If you don't know who Rabbi Kariv is and you're not following Israeli politics, it's a pretty big deal to have a member of Knesset coming to our shul. So a lot of things going on over the next several weeks. Before we even get to that, though, this Thursday, very important, July 31st, 7 o'clock, our wonderful Nancy Karlbach is going to be speaking about her father, Sid Shores, who was one of the preeminent pencilers of Captain America in the 1940s. Now, you may not care anything about superheroes or comic books, but this story is an important story. And if you don't realize how much of a connection there is between specific Jews, like Sid, and the comic book world and these characters who are so iconic, we are a part of a lot of the most major, most important comic book characters there have ever been. And that's thousands, 100,000, millions of people over the world who don't even know it. Right? Who don't even know it. So come out and support Nancy. Come be here 7 o'clock on Thursday. I'll welcome you here. And I believe, Shelley, there is potentially an online version of this also. But please come here and be here if you can. That's always really appreciated. Last note is the class that was intended to be presented by my mom about advanced care planning in a Jewish context has been postponed for a later date. We'll determine in the future, but she will come out and help us with that in the future, but that is not happening this Sunday as originally intended. We also, speaking of Bonnie and Ira, want everybody to mark their calendars for the next Hamish Havdalah Beach Gathering, which will be Saturday, August 2nd at 6:30. Please speak to Ira and Bonnie, or probably more Bonnie than Ira in this particular case, so that you can get to know all about what's going on. Now, one last thing, I want to invite up my dear friends, Rabbi Alan Levin, to share just a couple of words at the very end. And Gail, I want to thank you while you're there. This pair of Gail and Alan together, nothing that can't be achieved, including dealing with me, which is always a big challenge in all ways. So Alan, come up. Bima's yours. You're welcome.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Just a reminder that we are in the middle of the Summer of Geffen Love, which is a celebration of the Geffen family as we celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Rabbi Dan and his family's spiritual guidance here at Temple Adas Israel. Events have been planned in July and August to honor each of Rabbi Dan, Lou, and their children, Eva and Emmett. Our cocktail party on June 29th was a rousing success, and the Geffen family were our guests of honor. And last Friday, we served pizza and ice cream after a Shabbat off-the-base service that highlighted Eva and Emmett and helped to build our Hebrew school library. Our next event is in 2 weeks' time, on Saturday, August 9th, Tu B'Av, the Jewish holiday of love. And we'll be celebrating the warmth, love, and many contributions of our Rebbitzin, Lou Geffen, with a congregational luncheon at 12 p.m. immediately after Shabbat services. All are welcome, men and women, to join in this festive lunch. And if you plan on coming, please RSVP using the link in yesterday's email message from the temple, or simply send an email message to Shelley Lichtenstein, our executive director. The final event of our Summer of Geffen Love is a Shabbaton that honors Rabbi Dan himself. It's actually the fourth Shabbaton of the 3 Shabbatons that Rabbi Dan mentioned. A special Friday night service and Oneg are planned for August 22nd, and a special Saturday morning service and Kiddush are planned for August 23rd. So please be on the lookout for more details in the coming weeks. We have also been putting together a tribute journal to mark this milestone anniversary in our synagogue's history. So if you haven't already done so, please do consider taking out an ad in this journal. It's a meaningful way to acknowledge all that Rabbi Dan and his family do for our community. August 9th is the final deadline for journal ads, and the temple office can help you with that. Shabbat Shalom.
Okay. So I know everybody's hungry and ready to go next door. One last thing, I promise. So as we said, right, it is Will's last time, and I'm not going to throw a million things at him. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to break down like I normally do, and I know we already said goodbye to you a few times. So I'll say goodbye in something of a teaching. So, we often talk about how, Hebrew has a lot of words for a lot of different things, right? You can say shalom to people coming or going. You can say lahitraot, which is a wonderful thing because it's reflexive. It implies you're going to see them again. But knowing also, Will's love of text, I actually love what the rabbis do when they complete a section of studying the Mishnah or studying a section of Gemara in the Talmud. And they say hadran aleinu in this case, right? We're going to say, return to us, right? They say to the text, I promise I'm going to return to studying, even though I've finished this section of study, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. I saved myself. I got it. All right? So all I ask of you is both blessing and request, right? Hadran aleinu, right? Come back to us. Don't forget us. Come back when you can. Know that you have absolutely and with great skill, great heart, great everything, finished this part of your studies, part of your journey. But the book, even when we close it, right, even when we put it back on the shelf, someday we open it back up again, we return to it. And you will be different and we'll be the same, but, we'll be so happy to see you and so happy to have you back, and we hope very much that will happen. But we wish you nothing but blessing, nothing but good things. And again, for our friends who are in the city, you'll find him at Road of Shalom most Saturdays, most Shabbats, I would assume. But we love you, man, and we're proud of you, and we appreciate everything that you do. And for one, last thing where I like to make him work in his last weekend as much as possible, but also to give him the privilege of doing Kiddush. So I don't know if you wanted to do a closing song or go right to Kiddush.
Let's just go to Kiddush.
We're going to go right to Kiddush. You see, he's already an accomplished cantor as it is. We're on page 123. I'll ask the congregation to please rise.
Baruch atah. No, that's not it.
That was later. No, but this is exactly the moment.
Oh my gosh.
Now the hard part is I'm going to have a hard time remembering myself.
What is it?
Okay, give me a second. Worst comes to worst, I'll do my family member. But, I can only do the...
That's not right.
Wow, this is crazy.
Oh my
This
gosh.
happened. Someone want to sing it out? Sing me...
Melech Olam Borei Veri Hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh Zecher letziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta Ve'otanu kidashta Mikol hamim Ve'shabbat kodshecha Ve'ahava uvratzon Inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim, to great life. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam,
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Please come next door. Let's not forget to sing our happy birthdays. Our happy birthday. Somebody remind me to sing the happy birthday.